So, you've probably seen all the chatter online and maybe even some news headlines about a potential new cyclone, Montha, forming out in the Bay of Bengal. But what's really going on? Let's cut through the noise, look at the actual data, and separate the facts from the fear.
And this, right here, is the big question. It's what everyone across Tamil Nadu really wants to know. Is this storm going to hit us?
Okay, let's not waste any time. The bottom line, based on all the current information we have, is that the chance of a direct hit on Tamil Nadu is very, very low. And that's the key thing to remember here. We're going to focus on the data, not the drama.
So to really get why forecasters are so confident about this, we need to dive into the facts. We're going to break down the raw data from the weather models to give you a crystal clear picture of what's happening out there.
You know, you see these kinds of sensationalist posts all over the place. This quote here really nails the main message we need to hear. Don't entertain these wild claims. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's push the rumors aside and look at the actual science.
All right, so what are we actually looking at right now? As of this morning, October 25th. Well, that low-pressure area has been brewing for a bit, and it's gotten more organized and gained some strength. But what does that actually mean in weather terms?
The official term for its current state is a deep depression. Think of this as a crucial step before a system becomes a full-blown cyclone. It's getting its act together, it's gathering strength, but it's not quite at that cyclone-level intensity just yet.
And here are the system's vitals, its current stats. You can see it's hanging out in the South Andaman Sea, with winds around 25 knots and pressure at 996 hectopascals. Now, these numbers are super important because they're the ingredients that get plugged into the big computer models we're about to look at.
Okay, so the million-dollar question, where is this thing headed? To figure that out, we rely on some incredibly complex computer models. We're going to focus on the two heavyweights, the European model and the American model.
And this lays it all out pretty clearly. The European model, the ECMWF, sends the system up toward the Andhra Pradesh coast, keeping it a good distance away from us. The American GFS model agrees on the general direction, towards Andhra Pradesh, but it brings the track just a little bit closer to our coast. But here's the key takeaway. Despite those small differences, do you see the general agreement? Both models are pointing it away from Tamil Nadu.
And all of that brings us to this one really important number, 90%. Based on how strongly these models agree, forecasters are saying there's a 90% probability of no direct impact on Tamil Nadu. That is a very, very strong signal.
So, if a direct hit is pretty much off the table, what can we expect here in Tamil Nadu? Well, we're talking about indirect effects, mostly some rain. Let's start by seeing what's already happened in the last day. The indirect impacts look totally manageable. We're talking about some mild winds, maybe 20 to 35 kilometers per hour, and some scattered rain, especially for the northern coastal areas. The one thing to keep an eye on is if the storm wobbles a little more to the west as it moves north. But for now, this is the forecast.
Now this is interesting. This table shows where the heaviest rain has been in the last 24 hours. And as you can see, it's all been concentrated down south in the Kanyakumari district. It's really important to note that this rain is from other weather patterns, not from the system we're tracking out in the bay.
All right, so what about the next 24 hours? Let's zoom out a bit and look at the forecast not just for us, but for all of South India.
If you look over to the west, Kerala is definitely in for a wet day. Widespread rain, some of it heavy, is expected across most of the state. And it's a pretty similar story for Karnataka, where places like Bengaluru and the coastal districts should also be prepared for some good showers.
Now, heading north to Andhra Pradesh, which remember is the storm's likely target, they'll start to see moderate to heavy rain moving into their southern districts. Telangana can also expect a fairly rainy day, especially in and around Hyderabad.
And finally, back home in Tamil Nadu. For the northern coastal areas, including Chennai, some scattered moderate rain is possible. As you move into the central and western parts of the state, you can expect light to moderate showers here and there. And down south, it'll be mostly light rain. So the main takeaway is, yes, there will be rain, but no, this is not a cyclone impact.
Okay, so after looking at all this data, what's the real takeaway? What are the key things that we need to keep an eye on as this system continues to move over the next few days?
Let's wrap this all up with the 4 key points to remember. First, the main threat, the main area to watch, is the coast of Andhra Pradesh. Second, for us in Tamil Nadu, we just need to watch for any unexpected shift to the west. Third, expect some rain, but please don't buy into the cyclone hype. And finally, and this is the most important point of all, get your information from official sources like the IMD, not from scary headlines. Stay informed and stay safe.